That's right, Frankie. We're right back with Vidil and Resin. And it looks like they might have just cleaned up a quick engagement here, Jacob. Curious to see if they were able to pick up some elims. 2 on the board. It's Vidil who got them. That's a good way to start it off.
Not perfect way to start it off. And look at the rewards for their efforts. There's 9 bunkers that do potentially spawn on the map, but it's 6 that actually get activated, and it's around this 3rd zone. You start to hear this alarm sound off, and it's not about 115, 110 that you can actually access these vaults, and they're all ready to go in. Not only you get a plethora of actual loot, you get gold, and there's one of those mod benches. The only place to get those mod benches is in these bunkers, so now they have so many options to work with in terms of picking the perfect loadout for them.
This is a huge start, honestly. With the 2 elims, the bunker, you said it yourself. Not even too many duos close by. Now the freedom to kind of choose how they want to pick their rotate here. It's only 3rd zone, so they have a lot of time to kind of plan it out. Even see if they want to pick a path where you can get more damage from afar, as they're not going to be forced to take those risky engagements so early on. We were talking about them as well. Mongrel, Mr. Savage. They've been performing very well so far in 29th place, 114 points. I mean, we talked about it earlier on. To have a good shot of qualifying to the semis at least, I believe you just needed around 120, maybe 130 points. And with that, you will not have to do too much work in the next qualifier. So definitely a strong start for this duo.
And if you guys are at home wondering who is who, 009 is going to be Mongrel. User is going to be Savage, just in case you're watching a lot of these plays and you're wondering who just made such a magnificent call. Now we can differentiate. And you already know who didn't make a good call there. A little bit of fall damage. Never really hurt anybody unless you're Floki. But luckily for them, the only team that is nearby is the one that is already concerned with the forecast tower. So not too much loss there. You keep your shields. Might have to use some heals, but not too much of a worry since they didn't go down altogether.
Could have been a lot worse. It could definitely have been worse. Trulex, Chico. I mean, they're looking good too. Not in zone, but it's not like they need to be right now. Also 2 elims, just like Vidil and Resin. They are closer to Lavish though, so a lot more up north here. As they make their way in. So far, it's kind of like a little bit more peaceful for the players that have gotten those initial engagements off their contested drop spot if they were contested. Already looted up, and now it's just kind of setting up for the more mid-game section here.
Quite an easy rotation as well. You know, see him in the zone. It's easy to get worrisome for a team like this. But as you see, it's a free rotation. Legendary bananas. You got to imagine what other heals they do have in their inventory. So it's not too worrisome just yet. Maybe when we get later in the game, 11th zone, we'll kind of look back at a moment like this to see how much damage did they take to Storm if it does go down to a heal off. Then we'll be singing a little bit of a different song and dance.
Pixel. Waiting to see here. Zone actually has pulled quite close to them, so they will not have to rotate too far at all. For Strokey, though, looks like he's got an interesting situation here. What's gone wrong here, Jacob? Looks like a player is hiding. Will they be able to find them? Raban for Strokey. They know he's close by. They hear the footsteps. They hear him running. They are in the zone, but it's not a problem with the 2 versus 1. No big mistakes, and it should be all right here. As now, right-hand peek for the opponent. Needs to find a different angle. The chase continues. No shots landed yet. No connections. This could go terribly wrong, though. As for Strokey's lost his duo partner, Ravon has been knocked. Now it's a 1 versus 1. What has gone wrong, Jacob?
Yeah, it just looks like they are just getting too aggressive, trying to use their strength and numbers of a different way, but the longer they stay in the zone, their HP is going down. It makes them susceptible to one-shot opportunities right now, and with a 2v1 that's now turned into a 1v1, it's forcing Fast Roki to use a ton of those heal early as a solo, but he's still not backing down. Great way to trade shots and still hold confident and to hold true in a situation like this.
You know there's no time to pick up his teammate, so he's looking for the aggression. He might just have to go for that elim. He's telling his opponent, go to zone. Let me pick up my duo partner, but he's saying, no, no, no. You wanted to take this fight. We're battling to the end. For Strokey needs to just play aggressive here. He does have enough medkits to out-heal him, though. Kurama has 1, but Fastroki has 3. So if his ultimate game plan is just wait until he can pick up his duo partner, it's just going to be so difficult. It's going to use so much time. I don't know if it's the right play. Now dropped down to 17 HP. Raban as well, about to get taken out. They get 1v2, Jacob.
A 1v2 situation. That is just huge, because now imagine the confidence. He turned it around. He has the heals, the Flowberry Fizz, and that was the shot that started it off. A monster shot on the Roban, and the fact that he was able to stay alive. He was just slipping through every nook and cranny. Finally gets the piece control and sends Fastroki and Roban back to the next lobby to queue up for another game.
Absolute tragedy for the duo as we swap over to Rift Island. Griff swaps one of the Maddie duos here. As a reminder, there are rifts below the island that will appear that players can use to rotate. There's a flag to capture up top here alongside some launch pads you can also use. And it looks like there's 2 duos that were kind of put head to head up top. As Yarko.
Oh no.
Ooh, was he?
He's trying to
go down.
down.
He did. Swaps. Taking himself out to fall damage. Unable to waterfall down the rift. That is not a way you want to go down, Jacob.
Yeah, that was big by Darkies, I do believe it was. As he was trying to waterfall down, you can see that some of the builds get tagged up. You see the Flowberry Fizz, and it's just not going to be enough. Even shots just going through those builds. That's what you get for using wood instead of brick or metal to try to shield and hold through against some of those shots.
We'll see what's his duo's going to be able to do now, though. As he's been forced into an even more difficult situation. He will be able to pop the rift, but there's going to be a lot of players kind of looking around now. I don't know if he's going to try and fly away, if he's going to hide. Yeah, he's going to try and hide on the Rift Island. It's the better play here to not get lasered by the other players in the surroundings, but has he picked a good enough spot? Jacob's the question. Will we see another 1 versus 2? Vadil on the feed taking 1 out as well. We can see what it was. Resin 0 on the board. Vadil 3 now. Both players eliminated. That's 4 for the duo. Inside a zone by the Grand Glacier.
This is a team, you know, you think back towards Major 1. I know it gets overshadowed by how close of a race it was between Malibuca Mustache and Queasy and Thomas. But Reason and Vadil were in contention throughout the majority, I do believe, of day 1. Things slipped through their fingers with the point differential in the day 2 format, and they weren't able to remain consistent, but they have showed the blueprint. They've showed what they're capable of, and if they can continue to channel that, some momentum, and then obviously we work some of the things that went wrong, we can continue to see them at the top of the leaderboard. And Takata, we were talking about it to really start the day of a certain threshold you need to get through here in week 1 to give yourself some flexibility and comfortability for week 2, knowing you at least have some sort of a spot secured in the semifinals.
Right. I believe it was around 115, 120 points. We talked about it earlier on. 130 points is what it was. So if you're able to secure that, it should not be too difficult for you in the second qualifier. So a lot of these players are getting closer and closer to that threshold. And like Sato being one of them. And with the positioning they have already, opportunity to go even deeper into zone when it starts closing. This could be a big match.
I definitely could. And, you know, Andalex and Sato are one of the few teams so far in this round to have multiple double-digit elimination point games. They were almost able to close out one with a 2nd place. The other one, not so well, though, with the 18th. Overall, I feel like they have 128 points. 32nd, give or take, because obviously there's so many lobbies going on. They positioned themselves well on the leaderboard, but I guarantee you, after their performance in the last FNCS Major 1, that's not where they want to be. They feel like they deserve to be at the top of the leaderboard. They just have to prove it here with the rest of the game and the rest of the time they have left.
All that's left is to do it. Vortexia. Edit's coming through with his duo partner. Is that a sniper or a DMR in hand? It's a DMR. As they're seeing what they can get. They do have 0 elimination, so they could use a bit of damage. We'll see how below or above they are. It's 3 above. So they definitely need to get some tags here. I believe we talked about it earlier on, Jacob. The Storm Surge threshold has been appearing, I believe, 7th zone with around 430 damage being the requirement. Will they be able to hold on to it, though? As They're still 51 below.
Yeah, 51 is not a terrifying number by any means, but it's definitely tough in a situation like this. There's other players on the other side putting shots in that direction, even though they're not necessarily aimed at Vortexia. They're still going through the builds, and just like that, that's Lazen who lands a couple of good laser shots. The Mythic Gatekeeper making its way through, and no other way but to go forward, and he makes it work, picking up not one but two more eliminations, getting all that resource. And because Skyjump is still alive, I don't want to curse it, but I have the chance to get him back. Well, that one goes out the window, and it wasn't my fault either, Takata.
Don't know about that one, Jacob, but 5 elims on the board now. 1,000 above. Let's see what just happened. Even had shots coming from behind, but was still able to come out on top. What are these solos doing, Jacob? The amount of 1v2s we're seeing. This game is getting intense, as now that's left is to close it out. We saw Tayson pop off in the last match as a solo. Lyson now has everything he needs to do the same in terms of loot and materials, even damage. All that's left is to do it.
I know he had help from his duo, probably getting some of those eliminations, but since he got the eliminations, this is a game right here where Lazen, in theory, can score every single point for his team. He has a couple so far because of those eliminations, but he needs at least one team to go down for those placements to start to set in. As Chari and Geras, they take the high launch pad on top of the mountain, and now they can pick the perfect spot in which they want to base up, keeping elevation underneath their control.
Shots continuing to be put onto Cherry and Gyros here, but not going to be enough to scare them as Gyros continues just to look for shots. Mongol, Mr. Savage as well, boxed up close to everybody else here. So many big names. Trulex, Chico, Mongol, Savage. I believe I even saw Vidil and Resin there. So many players boxed up close to each other. As the duo here are Swaps and Griff, they're 237 below though. Good news is snipers in hand, Jacob. Is he going to connect the shot? You think he can do it?
It's a must. I feel like it's a must. It's not whether can he do it. He must do it. Because remember, Swaps is the one that got eliminated, taking down off of Rift Island. So they're low on Surge. Griff had to spend so much time getting his teammate back. You see there's no build. They're in shambles. But it's Savage, it's Mongrel on the other side that are going to be the targets. They find a way to continue moving back, create some distance, separate themselves. But Griff is still on the hunt. That's the only team in sight they feel they can get their damage on. And finally, just like that, it turns off, but in the next zone, they're going to need another 10 players to go down. So even though they do have a breath of fresh air, they're going to have to be proactive here in another short 10 seconds. Look,
I don't know.
Excuse me.
I don't know how fresh that air is, Jacob. No shields. All they got is that golden ticket with the legendary Reaper sniper rifle. The shots are going to need to hit, as we can see now. The rotate from Mongol Savage will be coming through shortly. They shouldn't have as much as a worry for the amount of damage they need to do, being 335 above. But with just 38 seconds left, we can see what Vidil and Resin have been doing.
Wow. They literally make it look easy. And the way Vidil is just bouncing in and out of those pre-edits, just making sure that they have space just in case the wall gets taken. Very, very impressive. You see everybody trying to rotate towards the front side of the zone, and with the elimination 6 so far, they're 637 damage above the threshold. Allows them flexibility to go to the front side of the zone, but we continue to look at the players that aren't feeling comfortable, that are forced to really make a play and a statement here. But once again, Storm Surge turns off before it's too late, but Swaps with no builds loses his teammate.
Be careful, Swaps, as now he's forced deeper and deeper into the zone. 29 HP as it keeps ticking. Still no heals, still no shields. 15 seconds. He can stay crouched here in the corner. Sniper's reloaded. He needs to land that headshot as the pickaxes come through. It's a duo. Nothing you can really do there.
Yeah, and Alex and Sato, hey, possibly going for a third double-digit Elim game. Who knows? They've already got 3. They got 30 opportunities for more, but the Fizz, they're going to immediately dash to the front side of the zone again, give themselves as much time as possible to go from one rotation to the next and figure out where they need to go as they stagger themselves here, wait for the zone to catch up. But as they do that, you see every player now jumping above them and passing them on the rotation.
Gyros Chari staying ahead of the pack, making sure to build up as quickly as possible to possibly connect to this peak, to the previous tower that they have built. And it looks like they've done it. This is massive positioning for the duo, especially if they can continue to take shots from above and maybe even find some heals. This could be huge for the duo, especially if the zone pulls back.
Yeah, big moment. They even chop him down so nobody can contest them. Sato and Alex, another elimination. Fourth one in the books. Much needed resource and material as they continue to try to push through every adversity being faced in this match. You see the Fizz coming out. They know the next rotation isn't going to be easy. Just like Mongrel and Savage, they've had 5 games. This is their 6th. Contested, not doing so well. But when they are uncontested, they have moments just like this. They can look brilliant and can look like contenders in the region.
Banana pop through. Mobility has been granted, and now they fly through the skies, landing in zone, still looking incredibly healthy, as they have not been playing too aggressive here. More just focused on rotates, focused on keeping it clean, just like Vidil and Resin. 69 builds, has that Cerebus medallion, so they can trade it back and forth to recuperate those dashes. As another Elim gets put on the board, it's 4 now for Mongrel and Savage.
I'm continuing to use every opportunity uncontested as possible. Once again, reaching the front side of the zone, but push comes to shove. Another team is waiting for an opportunity to jump in the box. They separate Savage and Mongrel. Now Savage is left by himself, staggering, getting damaged by the zone, quickly peeks in for a shot, tries to go around the corner, but the same fate happens. He goes down, but now it's Vidil and Reason. They have a chance at the high ground, and they're trying to chop down Chiris and Garis to make it a confirmed success.
Giro's still up, though. Resin has been cracked as well. They're fighting back. They want to maintain this height. They're so high up. They're getting to the ozone layer. They have to be careful. Good news is Flowberry, though, is going to block that fall damage. They're able to drop back down, connect, and now once again, dominating the clouds is Vidil, continuing to land shots, dropped to 27 HP, no shields, but he has 3 medkits. He has 3 big pots, but he has 0 materials. He cannot cover himself, and that is going to lead to his demise.
Yeah, but he's done so much damage to the high ground team. Gears now left all by himself, scratching together the heals if it does come down to that. And as he does it, that distraction allows for Trulex and Chico to now overtake that high ground position. They have heal off conditions in their inventory as well. Chari goes down to the backside of the zone. Everything comes crumbling down for them.
Kurama, Werex continuing to get low now. Have they claimed it? It looks like they have. 30 damage shot to their opponent, but with 0 builds, how much does your teammate have? Are you going to be able to keep tarping out, or do they need to find an impact here as Andalex drops down as well? All the players drop to the snow now. Feet getting cold as Kurama continuing to take out more.
Yeah, at least he was able to get one more elimination before going down. Kurama gets another elimination, bringing the team total to 5. Passing up 200 points and giving themselves a moment to breathe on the low ground, heal up as many of those shields as possible because they know the inevitable is about to happen. Somebody will drop down and try to play Disruptor.
3 duos up, 5 total players, as now his duo partner has been taken out. Just 3 little fishies to use to out-heal his opponents. It's not going to be enough as Chico now just 1 tick away, gets dropped as well. Werex still up. Fishy's popped. It's going to be Trulex with the 2 medkits. This looks like he's going to be able to take it. 4 elims for Trulex, 3 for Chico. Heal up completed. Victory Royale got.
Yeah, all he had in his back pocket was a small fry. You know as well as I do, a small fry just isn't going to be enough when you're hungry for more. Trulex and Chico, the redemption from last major is real. And that's the thing, Takata, you know as well as I do, when these competitors miss out on an opportunity to play on the grand finals of EU, they don't take it lightly. They hit the lab and they come out swinging in the next major.
Great way to close out the match. I mean, they played it safe. We've seen a lot of heal-offs, but you got to do what is granting those victory royales. Didn't even have to use all the med kits and was still able to take it home.
But games, Takata, we want more games. We're going to throw it on over to Analyst to break this game down and lead us into another.